going down for this country in that 1966, the events of 1966. Not just first the January event, the mutineers, the January event catalyzed the July event, basically because things were not did not happen properly. Let me tell you what happened in the January event that I think um, could have shot a few more people into that award list. When the mutiny from the north, well, Nzegu was successful in the north and they failed in the south. It means the mutiny failed. So there was no need for Aguiyi Rosie to have taken over power. It's like that Nigerian leadership thing of self-preservation or making decisions for self rather than making decisions on behalf of the country. If a coup failed and you the number one person was taken out, what protocol demands is that you hand over to number two person. So the military shouldn't have taken over, but I guess Unrosi wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, okay, I want to restore peace or whatever else he was thinking. And that was a huge mistake he made because it made the interpretation of that coup to look sectional because the military should not have taken over because the coup failed. If it failed, it failed. How can the coup be announced to have been failed and yet military took over power? That means the coup was a success. That means you're part of the coup or you took advantage of the coup. That's part of the Nigerian problem. One person always likes to take advantage of the other. And I think Unrosi should be on the list of those awards. I don't believe I did hear his name. I think you did mention his name. And also, the yeah, that's a major one for that January one. Then the 66th one was the one you should have included more people in those awards. And those have been those generals that were from the Western region, that one that ran to England and another one that accepted a governorship position, which didn't last beyond a month. For those generals should have stood as soldiers when the mutiny occurred because the mutineers only had three cities. They had Abeokuta, Ibadan, and Ikeja. They didn't even have the whole of Lagos. It was most Nigerian civil servants, mostly from minority tribes, that convinced because the negotiation went on for like 3 days, and with the help of the British, that the power should be handed over to Gowon. Gowon was lower cadre to some other officers. Since the issue was being regarded sectional, they didn't have the whole country. The biggest mistake they made was that those who were supposed to stand as men in that July 1966 coup did not stand as men, and they failed that nation because they were cowards. They ran. They were afraid of death, and they accepted positions rather than say, no, this is the right thing to do. And that created a huge problem for the country because that was how power shifted and everything became more imbalanced as the coup was trying to adjust from January. So, and then the counter coup that now took Gowon out, and I believe you should have given Muritala an award because Muritala contributed a lot to the destruction of that country, even though he was presented as an hero. He did contribute a lot. He was on the neck of Gowon throughout the entire regime of Gowon, and probably one of the major pushers against the Aburi Accord, because the Aburi Accord have stood for peace, and the 3 million Nigerians or more shouldn't have died because a few people want to be in power. These are the mistakes, and Gowon is still alive today, and he still hasn't given a single explanation to Nigerians on why he rejected the Aburi Accord to allow 5 million Nigerians or 3 to 5 million Nigerians to die in that civil war. That was an unnecessary civil war. So those are people who historically have destroyed this country and tilted power to a certain region rather than make power and justice the issue of balance. It's one region over another. And this problem started in 1966. July 1966, precisely. And up to today, the country has not recovered because one region takes advantage of power, wants to use it. Another region says, well, Emiloko, it's my turn. And the problem continues. And a person who has been putting this into music for us and been shouting this at the top of his voice was Fela Kuti. He's been singing this the whole of the 60s and 70s about the atrocities that is Nigeria. Now, most of us are reaping the fruit, and we now see where we are as a country. I don't know if any other person has a comment regarding that before we move on to the next one. But that's just what I want to say.
Yeah, I do have a few comments, so we don't keep other people waiting for them to issue their awards. Yeah, I get some of the this aspect of engaging. I'm no longer on the video, so should the case,
Okay.
so on Muritala Muhammad, um, it's role Muritala's role as to being in the negative side is not quite clear, except that he did a coup. It's not because it's quite arguable, right? Why I said that is because now we don't know for sure his role. But of course, we know Muritala. I mean, one of the name of Muritala Muhammad is Monty of the Midwest, right? They gave him a nickname called Monty of the Midwest. The reason why they gave him that name was his role during the Biafra struggle. He was the one that led a rapid squad, and pushing for West to win in the war, and that was how they gave him that name. But this quite like the obvious role he played, apart from his role in Congo. He was at the war front in Congo. He represented or he stood by the UN at the war during the Congolese, war and all of that before he came back to Nigeria. And what else would we say Muritala did other than he took over power from Gowon? Why did he take over power from Gowon? If we start from there, Muritala clearly said the reason why he took power from Gowon was they expected Gowon, within the space of few years to hand over power to civilian. And they waited for Gowon. Gowon wouldn't release power to civilian. And what did Muritala do? He said, and they felt they needed to take over power from him. And when he took over power, he kept mentioning and started restructuring. He was started restructuring, looking into the civil service and all of this, started changing leaders and kept pushing for democratic system. And before you know it, they took over. I mean, he was assassinated. And after he was assassinated, did they bring on board after he was assassinated? They brought, of course, Baba Yabo, Obasanjo. Obasanjo came on board. How did he come on board and what happened? What transpired? But the same Obasanjo also was in that league of those that went on to assassinate most of the Biafran brothers, our Biafran brothers, in the struggle. And so I kind of because I cannot directly pinpoint, a major issue with Muritala Mohammed. I think it's quite agreeable, and I'm just giving room to focus more on those that are clearly well documented, not the ones who go back and forth and say, no, this happened, no, that happened. Just like you said, the Aburi Accord, till this very day, Gowon is here to tell us why he disagreed. And nobody has that on record. We will only keep speculating. And this man, he may die anytime, and nobody will ever know that truth. Nobody will ever know if Muritala was involved, if Abasanjo was involved. Of course, we know the militaries will be involved in that. And also on this aspect of Aguin Rossi. If you look at it, my host, is that even Aguin Rossi too. Yes, of course, there's a link to all that. It's also a speculation. Like, okay, you got Nzegu arrested. After you got Nzegu arrested, what then transpired? I mean, people expected that he should sentence them to death for doing that, but he didn't. And that was what the Northern perceived that, oh, this is an Igbo thing, and they strike immediately, right? But that's all that we know so far. We don't pretty know so much that we can hold. And that is why we only added them in the line of conversation, but we could not issue them award because we think they don't directly qualify for, of course, they may indirectly, no doubt about that. The fact that they are military and they participated in this coup, no doubt about that. But we are looking out for those that directly were involved in all of these atrocities that have before our country and let our plunge our country to where it is today. I hope that is clear. It's not because, of course, they are qualified to get the award, but some of us feel that there are still some kind of doubts here and there because we do not know all of the story as of now. That's the reason. I hope I made myself clear a bit.
Yes, yes. So who's going next, and which category are we going to next?
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade OIH, for that fantastic highlight of the category number one, which actually speak towards our history. And of course, the next category would be Engineer OJ. Engineer OJ, I saw him at the speaker section, but he's no longer at the speaker section. You'll be taking the next category, category number two of the award, that speaks about animal farm, animal in human skin category. And I believe, well, let me check if Engineer OJ is still very much connected with us. Engineer OJ, are you there? Engineer OJ, are you there? Are you connected with us? Please receive the microphone if you have disconnected with us. Or perhaps I might have to uh, cover up for that category. Okay, Engineer OJ is on is with us now. Engineer OJ, are you here? Engineer, yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Let's have you anchor the next category for this award. Yes, you are audible, sir. Are we audible to you? Engineer OJ, are you there?
He might be having some technical problem.
Okay. Well,
He said he
I,
was. We can hear him, and then he went off again.
oh yeah. If you wouldn't mind, if I can cover up, because there's a chronological order with this award, and we would not want our audience to miss out with this chronology. Or perhaps can we move to the next category? Then we'll get back to engineer, or should I just move on to cover up for him? Because this category speaks about the likes of General Ibrahim Babangida, General Sani Abacha, Olusegun Obasanjo, the likes of Adams Oshiomhole, Rochas Okorocha, Godwin Akpabio, and of course Nasir El Rufai. So there are awards attached to all of these iconic, somewhat negative, iconic individuals in our history. So I will have to ask the host whether or not we should move ahead, or I should basically
Oh,
cover up
we can
Roger.
let him get his technical issues down. You know, when you're using,
Okay.
all could be coming in and then knocks you off trader. So that,
Can you hear me?
Okay.
yeah, we can hear you. He's trying to get on. We can hear you. Did you go on?
Can we consider Adege or any of the whilst we wait for engineer? We can just consider another person whilst we wait for
I
engineer.
agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
Are they are the African Wahala is supposed to take the next category that speaks about these religious zealots. That is the category, the next category that we will take after the category number two. But well, let's move on to these religious zealots that will be anchored by the African Wahala. The African Wahala, are you with us? All right, please take it away, sir. Um, yes, you are audible. But I would like to confirm from the host whether or not you are audible from his own side of things.
Yeah. I can hear you guys clearly, and and it's all good.
Okay. All right.
Very, if he needs me to add him on the visual, I can. If he needs that, I can. But if he doesn't,
Yeah.
that's okay. You can just go ahead with the voice.
All right. Please go ahead.
a sermon.
Yes, the host. I think he's trying to connect this audio with the live stream. Please, you can mute the mic. Let the audio only speak, sir. The host, so that we will not have the feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should mute the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, I just did. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Please proceed. The African Wahala.
I thought the point of the award is to for us to be offensive.
Absolutely. So call it out. Let's hear it.
So the next is Engineer OJ here to give us the next line, or someone else is ready to go?
Engineer OJ, are you